Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Carol Ashburn. I'm the Director of Marketing here at Prophecy. I'd like to thank you all for taking the time out of your busy schedule to join us for Webinar Wednesday. I'd like to extend a special welcome to our friends from Truckers B2B and folks who are coming to us from Mid-America Truck Show. Welcome. Glad to have you with us. We're very excited about this presentation today. Lots of great solutions to some really common problems in trucking, and we think we've got some great solutions for you. So without further ado, I will hand it over to Ian McDougall, our Senior Sales Manager, and he'll give us a look at the top 5 pitfalls in trucking and how to avoid them.
Okay, thanks a lot, Carol. I really appreciate it. So yeah, we're going to go through today and cover those top 5 pitfalls that we've identified, just really in talking with our customers over the years and also speaking with Truckers B2B members and obviously hearing from people at the Mid-America Truck Show too. So I'll go ahead and get started, and I want to show a video that most of you will be able to relate to. So we'll go ahead and do that first.
Trucking's a pretty simple operation, right? Somebody loads the goods onto a truck, drives the truck from point A to point B, drops off the goods, and that's all she wrote. Couldn't be easier, right? Yeah, except that there's all the dispatching. Hours on the phone with customers, last-minute load changes, keeping track of drivers and equipment. You have to tell 5 different people 5 separate times if anything changes, so no one drops the ball. Then there's managing resource assignments, fuel tax reporting, tracking hours of service, freight billing, keeping the regulation watchdogs happy, and on and on and on. So yeah, it's about as easy as planning a full-scale military invasion. And here's the craziest part. You're doing all of this manually with a whiteboard, a phone, and QuickBooks or some other accounting system, and lots of paper. Double high five for you. But seriously, imagine if you didn't have to do it all manually. What if there was a simpler, affordable, and more efficient way to run things and take your operation to the next level? Guess what? There is. It's called Prophecy. Prophecy is a transportation software solution that's as natural to use as the old whiteboard, and it streamlines every part of your business. There's a single point of data entry, so as soon as you punch something in, it shoots out through your whole company in real time, which means no more "I forgot to update the whiteboard" mishaps, or having to re-enter info in multiple locations. It automates the fun stuff like fuel tax and hours of service reporting, so all the regulation watchdogs stay happy. And it integrates with QuickBooks, Great Plains, and most other accounting software, which rocks since you're probably using one of them already. All of Prophecy's solutions are modular, which means you only get what you need. So if you're an LTL or truckload carrier, maybe you just need X. Or if you're a broker or 3PL, maybe you need X and Z but not Y. You get it. Here's the deal. Prophecy can make every part of your operation, from load planning to lane analysis, from shipping status to DOT rules, way easier and way more efficient. Here's the other deal. When you use Prophecy, you don't just get a new system, you also become a member of the Accellos supply chain management community, which puts you in touch with manufacturers and shippers across the country and gives you credibility as a reliable, organized fleet. So basically, using Prophecy means you can start growing your business and start using your whiteboard for something fun. Learn more at mile.com or give us a call at 800-776-6706.
So now I'd like to go ahead and talk to you a little bit about the history of Prophecy and Accellos. For more than 20 years, Prophecy's provided the most comprehensive suite of shipping and trucking software for Windows, the platform of choice for our industry. Our products are state-of-the-art, easy to use, and easy to implement. They've consistently been designed to work both as standalone offerings and as integrated parts of a transportation management system that can grow with your trucking business. Accellos, our parent company, acquired Prophecy Transportation Software in 2008. Prophecy is now part of a leading supply chain management software company which offers solutions for 3PL, warehouse management, and much, much more. So to go ahead and get started in talking about the 5 pitfalls that we've identified that most transportation companies go through, we'll highlight them all, and then we'll get a chance to talk to you about how Prophecy will be able to offer the proper solutions for you. So the first pitfall that we found that most companies go through, whether they be small startup companies, companies that have been around for a while, or even just medium to larger size companies, is that they have something called the famous paper shuffle. So I'm sure most of you have desks with paperwork all over the place, maybe Post-it notes all around your computer screen. Some of you may also use whiteboards still with the dry erase boards and updating your load statuses and everything. Or I also speak to people sometimes where I ask them what kind of system that they have in place, and they say that they have Excel and QuickBooks. Now, that's an okay system to use maybe 15, 20 years ago, but now with the proper programs that are out there, they make things a lot easier and a lot more organized. There's no sense in having to re-enter things with multiple data entry points in Excel and then having to go ahead and re-enter that information to create an invoice in QuickBooks or to create an invoice elsewhere. Also, what happens with the paper shuffle is that there's a lot of duplication of work. So you can lose paperwork too. I'm sure many companies have been guilty of that. I've actually had companies that have lost invoices before and totally forgot to even invoice their customers. Well, by having a proper system in place, they won't have to worry about that. Another pitfall, and what is pretty much caused by having this paper shuffle, is having inefficient communications with employees. What happens is that nowadays, with the industry being so competitive and with it being so much effective with real-time thinking, is that you need to have up-to-minute information. By not having a system in place, there's no way for employees to be able to communicate with each other what's going on exactly with that load. If a driver calls in or if a customer calls in or anything like that. Also, dispatchers won't be guilty of double covering loads. They'll be able to know up to date what's going on with loads by having a system. Another thing that we find is that companies that don't have a system in place with their ineffective communication with employees is that there's a lot of yelling across the room going on. People are putting customers on hold, or people aren't sure what's happening because they don't know what the last conversation was. And also when people are taking sick days or vacation days, there's really no question as to what's going on with the information without that person being there. By having a system in place, you'd actually be able to look into the system on what was going on with the most recent updated information. And also with the weather that we had, depending on where you're located, especially this last winter, there's no such thing as weather days really anymore because it's a web-based system. So you'll be able to access it from wherever you have access to the internet. Another pitfall that we've identified by not having a proper system in place is inefficient communications with customers. Do your customers view you as being old school people? Do you have systems like fax machines? Do you not have a logo in place? Are you guys still sending handwritten documents to people? Well, if that's the case, then it's not really keeping competitive with the industry. Also, are you not able to communicate with your customers after hours if you don't have the paperwork with you, or if you're not physically at home or at the office to know what's going on with that load? Also, nowadays, some programs out there are able to have customers actually log into the system themselves and enter in what they'd like to charge for the rate and everything like that, so you can communicate with customers a lot easier that way. Another pitfall that we found is improper management of the numbers. Companies have a lot of issues trying to figure out what needs to be paid, what needs to be collected. Am I making money on this customer? For which customer? For which lanes am I running? And without a proper system in place, there's no way to know that. Another thought is, am I losing money on this customer? Does it even make financial sense to have this customer? Well, imagine being able to have all of that information in a daily snapshot there. And the final pitfall that we've identified is no streamlined processes. A non-integrated process creates business stagnation and cripples profitability. It makes you appear a lot weaker than the competition, which is very important nowadays with the industry. It also stunts your ability to grow. You're able to handle more business with the same personnel by having a system in place. We've had people before that we've spoken to that have said, well, we really want to grow, but we're not able to because we're too unorganized. Well, by having a program in place, it's going to help to make things a lot easier. When you lose your personnel, you also don't lose stride and lose all the information. We've had customers before that say that they've lost an employee, so they lost all their information about their previous load history because they took it with them. By having a system, it's all sitting in the system, and that person won't have access to it as soon as you don't want them to. So what I'd like to do now is I'd like to go ahead and I'd like to show you how Prophecy on Demand will be able to help you with those 5 streamlined pitfalls, or the 5 pitfalls that we found in the transportation industry. So with Prophecy on Demand, a huge benefit of handling with the famous paper shuffle is that the program is web-based. So what will happen is that you'll have access to it from anywhere you have access to the system. You'll get everything into one system versus having it on the erase board, the Excel spreadsheet, or QuickBooks, or a pen and paper, or all over the sticky notes on the desk. Also, there's no duplication of work. Once you enter anything into the system once, for example, a customer, the customer record will be in the system with all their details. Once you enter a load into the system once, it'll manage that load and create it and keep track of it all the way through to it being delivered and invoiced. And then it'll stay in there for the history to be able to run reports in the future. There's also no risk of losing any paperwork because you're able to scan and upload any images into the program. You can see here, you can upload bills of lading or PODs or anything you need to upload into the program, and it attaches it to that load. So again, no more paperwork all over the place. To handle inefficient communication with employees, there's no need to be able to wait to talk to an employee because they were the last person to speak to that customer or speak to that driver. All you would need to do is jump into the system and go to the load and check out the different statuses for that load and the most recent up-to-date information about that load so that everyone will be informed of the statuses of that load as well. If the load is delivered, if it's been picked up, if it's been completed, if the driver is delayed, everything can be updated in the system. And again, no more weather days because your employees will be able to access this from home or wherever they have access to the internet. To handle the inefficient communication with customers, no more old school mentality, no more old school communication. Within the system here, you're actually able to create bills of lading in the program if you need to. You're also able to create order reports to send to your customer about that specific order. You can have a logo uploaded into the program. And then the great thing is you can email all of this information right from the program here to be sent to the customer. Again, if you wanted to print it off and fax it out, you can do so. You just print it off and do that. You're also able to communicate with your customers a lot more efficiently and effectively by sending emails. Once a load is picked up or delivered, you can just enter that into the system and update it, and then an email will automatically get sent out to your customers letting them know that the load's been picked up or delivered or whatever the status is. To handle the pitfall of improper management of the numbers, once a load is invoiced, you can send it right from our program here to the customer. You'll see that this is what an invoice looks like. It'll have your company logo at the top, your company information there, who you're billing, where you picked up and delivered, and how much you're charging the customer. You can do one of two things. You can print this off and send it out to them, or you can actually email that to them right from the system, again, making things a lot more efficient and a lot more effective. In terms of running profitability reports and figuring out if this customer is profitable or effective as a customer, you'll be able to see this by running different profitability reports in the system. This report is just an open date report, and it's going to show me all the loads that I ran in the system for that time period that I selected. It's going to show each trip that I ran for that customer. It's going to show my gross profit. It's going to show all the details of the load there in the system. Again, giving you that snapshot of what you have going on a day-to-day basis or on a weekly or monthly or yearly basis. Another thing is by having those no streamlined processes, it does make you appear weaker by having less efficient tools that don't keep you up with the times. It's tough to grow from 3 to 5 trucks or 10 to 15 trucks or up to 40 to 50 trucks by not having a proper system in place. And when you lose personnel, you don't have to worry about losing all that information and history because it's all already in the system. And that's another huge benefit to having the program in place. So again, to summarize Prophecy on Demand, it's business made simple. Transportation companies choose Prophecy on Demand for one reason. It simply works for their growing business, giving them more flexibility, making them more efficient, more competitive, and improving their bottom line. It's web-based, so you simply log on to the secure on-demand servers from any internet browser, and it keeps track of all the essential business information from dispatching to accounting. It's all right at your fingertips 24/7, and you can ensure that the information is safe and secure on our servers. It's continually backed up for protection and peace of mind. Our pricing model is great as well. It's pay-as-you-go. So you pay as you go. It only means that you pay a one-time setup fee and a monthly fee for as long as you use the system. There's no long-term commitments here. You also have a competitive advantage. You'll gain greater insight into your business, speed your cash flows through fast, accurate billing, improve customer service levels, manage by exception, and identify issues as they arise. And best of all, the power to speed ahead of your competition and grow your business as a result of your newfound efficiencies. So, if you'd like to get more information on Prophecy on Demand and how it can help avoid more pitfalls, feel free to contact myself at ian.mcdougall@accellos.com. I'd like to thank you all today for taking the time to go through and watch our webinar, and I hope we were able to identify similarities that you are running within your business and to help make your life a whole lot easier. Again, we're looking forward to working with you, so feel free to contact us anytime. You can also phone us at 800-668-7700. Thanks again. Take care.